All right, what's going on, guys? So I got a video for you guys today. It's a recorded group call from inside of my coaching, you get one-on-one coaching with me, and then we have the community aspect, so we do group calls twice a week. And we had a really, really good group call with some people who joined this week. We go over everything from social media, psychology, being a man, escaping the 9 to 5, like escaping the matrix, a lot of just general stuff that I think you're gonna really enjoy, and that's why I'm uploading this group call. It's a bit long, and the voice in the video is a bit off, so the quality isn't the best, but the quality of the message is there. Okay, so slap in an earbud, go take a walk while you're listening to this. I can promise you it's gonna provide a whole bunch of value, and that's exactly why I'm uploading it. Okay. And if you want to get inside of the group calls like this, if you want to build a badass physique, there is a link down below to my website. You can check it out to see what it all entails and schedule up a call with me if you want to join. But let's get right into the video.
All right, all three of you boys though want to do content. Carrie's a little bit farther ahead of everybody, so I think we should get the content shit rolling. Maybe some psychology of content rolling. Actually, I feel like that's a little bit more interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because just this week, like I know you talked about it a little bit in the weekly review.
Yeah.
Like it feels like right now I'm like climbing out of a hole, but all the momentum, like that confidence and like just like that longing to like want to post and want to do things. Like I feel like I still want to, and I know it's gonna come back. Like I've been sick, so I'm going easier on myself. But I feel that like spiritual shift that like hit me. Like it just feels like I've been totally disconnected from everything. Like just not like I was driving today and I'm thinking like, do I even want to do this? And it was like, and I knew it was a bullshit thought, but it just shows how far you can fall away. Like I'm still in like a volatile position where it feels like I have to get back into it again.
I want to ask you that when you got sick, do you feel like you fell off and all of a sudden, like when you lost that momentum, your mind kind of started going backwards almost?
Yeah, even though I knew, I know it's not going backwards because I'm sick, you know. So like, but yeah, it was this feeling of just not being dialed in, you know, like that. We talked about frequency last weekend. That's what it felt like. I felt like I like went out of the frequency, like that abundance feeling, and that everything's gonna happen and come my way. It just completely went away, and I'm trying to find it again.
So it's somebody who's probably been through that like 50 fucking times, where you build momentum up, you get knocked down, you build it up again, you get knocked down, right? You just have to learn how to get up quicker. That's it, you know. And it's kind of a skill set to learn to trick your brain back into that thinking loop and back into that momentum ASAP. Because where a lot of people go wrong is some of you guys, like, people will build up momentum in their life, right? And when things are easy, they can do it. But as soon as things get hard and something comes their way, then their mind starts spiraling. It goes backwards, you know. So like I was saying, and that I think like take that challenge as an opportunity to like look inside of your mind and kind of really see where you're at. You know, take that time to, since you can't work out and do physical stuff, dive into the mind. But like this is all a mental process you're upgrading, you know? Like I said, things are easy when they're easy, but when they get hard, how do you still show up? That's a really important thing to know. When things get hard, how do you still fucking show up? When you don't want to post, when you're going through that breakup, dude, when things are going wrong and you're tired, how do you still show up? That's what I've realized. You gotta fucking show up and like be like, what the fuck can I do? Give it your all, you know? Especially, like, you know, like hearing in these YouTube videos, show the fuck up, dude. Like, I know some days you're probably tired, and I feel that, but like, you just have to show up and be like, and also, like, do you guys ever struggle with sleep? Do you struggle with insomnia? You get a little head, yeah, maybe, no.
I am a bad sleeper. Yeah, I can fall asleep, but I usually wake up way earlier than I have to, and I'm up.
Right, Karen, do you feel like you struggle with insomnia? You don't even sleep,
I feel
dude.
like I can, as soon as I lay down, I can fall asleep.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time getting myself to get to bed, as well as I'll sleep a good amount of time for like half the night, and then I'll wake up in the middle of the night, usually with like my hands asleep or something. And then as soon as I wake up, it's like, well, shit. If I fall back asleep, I might continue sleeping. So sometimes I'll end up getting up, but then that kind of screws the sleep schedule more.
Right, but I was thinking, like, I'm somebody who's always struggled with sleep, so I'm like, let me just give my day my fucking all, no matter how tired I get, because then when I finally be tired. You know,
Exactly.
I think we should all look at that like I said, it's like starting from zero every single day. Like, just give it your fucking all each and every single day. Give it your absolute fucking all, dude. You know,
Exactly.
because you're young, dude. It's like, it's a crazy mindset. I don't know where it came from, but it's like, see how hard you are to kill. You know, I don't know,
Yeah.
it came from actually like bodybuilding preps, especially the last one. I was like, I wonder how far I can push myself until I like have to go to the hospital. And it's kind of fucking crazy, but you got to find like that limit. And like Way to Superior Man is a great book. Recommend you guys read Way to Superior Man. Talks about finding your edge each and every single day. So your edge, again, it's like standing over the edge of the Grand Canyon. You know, you don't want to go too far, but you also don't want to stand 10 feet back because then you look like a pussy. You know, you want to lean over just enough to get the best view and like a little exhilarating in life. Like every day you lean past that edge just a little, you know? You make your content a little more edgy, right? You say something a little more drastic. You take a little more of a bold action, you know? You get up a little earlier or some shit. You work a little bit harder.
Yeah,
And,
also it compounds and builds up, starts to make it a lot easier to do it more and more as it goes.
so yes, but then you do go through moments like Jake went through where you fall down, you get sick, something happens, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just getting back on that compounding interest ASAP. Because yeah, there is times you have to reset, but the way I look at it is like the universe is testing you. It's like kind of humbling you to show you where you're truly at.
Yeah.
You know, show you where you're truly at. How do you show up on your worst fucking days? Now, getting sick's one thing, right? But it's like when you're done with being sick, how fast can you pick up the pace once again? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the growth you should look for right now. It's like, okay, the day I feel really good, the day there's no longer a temperature, how fast can I get back into it? That's like the true test of where you're at. And it hurts to be like, oh, it's gonna take me 3 days, but then it's good to know the truth that okay, I can still improve here. You know.
I feel like sometimes I was gonna say I feel like sometimes too, if you fall off, whether that could be from like you just fall off or you get sick or something, a lot of the times it gets harder to kind of get back into it because you start to get that fear of like, oh, what if I get sick again, or what if something happens again? Rather than if something happens again, I'm just gonna deal with it and then move forward again.
So past couple of days I've been working on this like website and stuff, and I've been kind of like not wanting to post online because I get so stuck in this one thing, and then I overthink the posting online. You know, I'm like, dude, my mind's all scrambled. But then it's just like one thing I found is remember your enemies. Sometimes we need that emotion to be, because we all know what to do, right? Jake knows what to do, Barrett knows what to do, Carrie, and you all have logical action plans. You see the steps in front of you. But the other part of the picture is the emotion that has to come in to actually take that action and create that fire. So like this morning I got up, didn't feel like my sleep score was 36%. It was terrible. It was 23 actually. It was 23. It was terrible. And so I got up this morning. I'm laying down in bed. It's like, oh, I didn't sleep well. I'm still fucking fighting with this girl. I'm not even talking to her actually. I'm like, oh, fuck this shit. You know, I'm not doing as good an income this month as last month. Like we're still going. I'm like, but then like I see my enemies and it fires me up. I remember my enemies and like it fires me up. I'm like, I know I'm fucking better. That I want that shit. So it fires me up in the morning. I think making sure you have a emotional side of that action plan of like it's I'm referring to the book The Path of the Audacious Few by Patrick David. It teaches you how to create like a business plan, but it's really a life plan. You need to be logical and you have to have emotional, you know? So again, have that emotional side, have those things that you're trying to conquer. Like a large part of my emotional side was when my sister passed away, but now it's been like 3 years. So I've healed from it. So there's still other emotional things I have to bring in. You got to choose your enemies wisely. Who is going to piss you off? Who is going to fire you up? You know, who do you see that has more success than you that you know you're better than? Right? I know you guys see people online or out there in the world that you know you're better than and they achieve more success than you, and that should piss you off. And that
you got to keep that chip on your shoulder.
yeah, that's the strongest fuel. And that anger is also inspires you as a man, you know? And so like that's where like deep inspiration comes from, especially if you guys want to post content, you know. Karen, right now you're very consistent with the YouTube. And I think if you can really get more emotion through the YouTubes, it's gonna hit you harder. You know, if you think about okay, what are your enemies? And it doesn't have to be other creators, it can be specific paths that you don't want to go down, that your audience doesn't want to go down, and it brings up an emotion inside of you and you translate it through the screen. You know, that shit helps it out.
Yeah, you just gotta like almost re-put yourself back into an emotion or back into a situation sometimes. Like before I'll be recording, I'll have to like think of like something I did in the past, or maybe something somebody said to me or whatever, and like try to relive that moment, and then you hit record and start talking. That way you can actually start to drive that emotion into the video.
Yep. And so like I've posted thousands of pieces of content. I've noticed that the best piece of content that hit are the ones that came from emotion that I was like, this isn't going to hit because I couldn't make sense of it. And even though it maybe didn't like make a whole bunch of sense, there was emotion through the screen. So it hit hard because, again, we communicate better through emotions. If I speak like this, you guys are gonna a lot better than if I'm talking like this.
Yeah.
It's going to be boring. You're not going to feel my energy. Go through everything in life. And so make sure you guys get enemies. Life's a competition, man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got kind of like an interesting topic.
What's up?
So I think that there's a voice inside that's trying to guide me to doing better and bigger things, and then there's still that like scared voice that wants me to be safe.
Right.
And I feel like I just picked up a job. Like I feel like I just accepted a job that was completely listening to the scared voice. And because I'm not really interested in the job. It's tech sales. Like I'm going to learn how to sell, which is good. That's always good. But I got like a bad feeling from it from the start. And I took it for the financial security, even though I know like in the back of my head, they're like that good voice is telling me like, it's for some reason it's telling me not to take it. And as I'm starting to become more disciplined, that voice is becoming easier to differentiate. Like it's becoming it's like weird when I pick something that's objectively good for my security and stability, and there's this loud voice telling me to run away from it. And like I guess the topic I'm bringing to the table is like, when do you just say fuck it? Like when do you just say fuck it and really just bet on yourself? Because like everyone that would be around me would be like, you should be working that job. You shouldn't be working at a restaurant or something, like in working on your social media. But I don't know. It's like, it's weird because I feel like I don't have enough. Like I'm so new at like even thinking about doing social media that I just feel like having something stable is smart. But then at the same time, I'm like 8 to 5 days a week. That's a lot of time that's going into something that's just draining, so it's hard to pursue anything worthwhile on top of it. Like it's going to make it harder,
Right. So I would say, first off, you have to go that route. It took me 2 years to ever get paid from social media. I had to post a whole shit ton, right? And so your best bet is, you got to play it safe because you're at that point of life. You're 25. You have to play part of your life safe, but then you have to play part of it risky. You have to have that safe 8 to 5 hours a day. Then the rest of the hours you have to play risky as fuck. But you also have to plan accordingly. What that means is you have to understand what's going to be your biggest leverage point when it's finally time to step into that next step of your life, like do social media. What's going to get you the most leverage as soon as you can pour more time into it? So I think about it this way. Eventually, you'll want to drop down to part-time, right? But when you drop down to part-time, how can you get the most leverage out for each hour you have a day so you can start making money ASAP? And that is literally just going through the most personal development and building the best physique possible outside of that. And so you're building this asset up, this big leverage point that once you finally get there, and as you're transitioning, when you're working that full-time, you're making content, now you got the physique, you transition to that part-time, now you have this leverage thing, it's the physique, right? And now you're only 90 days away as long as you can put in the work for making some money, boom, you make that leap of faith, right? Other thing too is like, you got to think like, okay, what is masculinity? Masculinity seeks freedom. Masculinity grows through gaining wisdom. How do you gain wisdom? You have to go through a lot of shit. So become reckless, because here's the thing. A lot of people are just kind of feminine. So they're kind of, what do you want to call it? They're cowardice. And, in between cowardness and recklessness is courageousness. So that's why I say like, push your level of recklessness. See how much far you can go, see how hard you are to kill, because you're most likely going to make it to being courageous versus if you just aim to become courageous. If you aim to become reckless, you'll become courageous. If you aim to become courageous, you're going to become in between whatever is in between cowardice and courageousness. You know, so it's like, yeah, push yourself, become more reckless, test more. And masculinity, I wrote about it yesterday, actually. It's not on there anymore. But it seeks freedom. That's what it seeks, you know?
Yeah.
And so freedom doesn't come fucking easy. You got to take some fucking risks at the end of the day, you know? And the fear voice is what would hold you back from freedom. And so it's like, listen to that other voice more, pay attention to it more, trust in it more. And the only things that are going to hold you back is really like the feminine voices. Go for security, go for safety. You know, like that's what kind of feminine energy wants. It wants security, it wants safety. You know, masculine energy, it wants more of that freedom. So did that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it did. So I just think it's it's probably just a perspective shift, because there's this like piece of me that's just, I'm getting really sick of settling for. I know this job isn't me.
Uh-huh.
You know, like I know deep down that I'm not a fucking tech sales guy.
Right.
I know it. So, and I feel like all the big decisions I've made in my life when it comes to work and everything, it's been that feeling. And I think I'm just, as I'm getting older, I'm getting like really tired of it. I'm really tired of working these things that I know are not aligned with God's plan.
Right.
So I think, it's probably a perspective shift. I have to use this as a challenge, and when I'm out of work from, after 5 o'clock, I have to really focus on what God's plan is for me, so I can get out of this cycle.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to be kind of manic about it.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say increase your thinking time horizon is the first thing. All day, you're only 25. You got a long fucking time. You know, always increase the thinking time horizon, because it like with social media now, it makes everything seem so fast paced. But a lot of people, they don't see what goes into behind the scenes. Everybody you look up to online, like I know some of them personally, they put a lot in behind the scenes. They failed so many things, they tried so long, and eventually something hit, and that's when you start to see it, and then you see when everything hits. Because in life there is a great dip. There's actually a book written on it. It's called The Fucking Dip. You know, it's where you're boom, then you dip down for a long time, then everything shoots up from right there. It's because, and again, this is how I know you'll become successful, because in your mind, you already do not feel comfortable working this regular job, right? You don't feel comfortable. You feel out of place there. And that's the first step, is feeling out of place of where you don't want to be. Because when you feel out of place, that means your identity is different than your environment. And so that means you're going to achieve a different environment eventually, as long as you protect the identity and you stay focused on it long enough, right? It's like, if your identity is different from the life you live, it will eventually change. It will 100% change. Your reality will catch up to your identity one day. But increase your thinking time horizon, you know? And as long as you don't settle, again, and that's just like a day-to-day thing, you don't feel comfortable there, you're going to be good. You're going to be good. As long as you don't settle today, you don't feel comfortable with what you have, because you know you can achieve more, you're good. It's it. You know, just because you had to do that today doesn't mean you settled. If the emotion, though, isn't settled, if it isn't comfortable, that's good, right?
Right. Yeah. I think that years of my life, I've been medicating. I think that's the problem, is I've always had these feelings, and for years it was whatever. I guess always something. It's either drinking or weed or scrolling. And like, I've been sober for a long time now, but even scrolling, like I'm starting to pick up on these patterns of like being uncomfortable in a situation, knowing it's not my purpose, very unhappy that I'm in it, knowing that I have this capability to do amazing things, and then I work, get tired, scroll, piss my night away. Like shit like that. And I haven't been doing that lately, but that's because I hired you and things have been changing. But like I'm starting to catch on to the failures. Like the failure isn't the fact that I'm in a 9 to 5 necessarily. The failure is that I'm not putting the right amount of time into like getting out of it, and I have time after work.
Right. And I like that you mentioned patterns, because if you can see the patterns in life, like, that's fucking powerful. A lot of people, they cannot recognize patterns themselves. And so they want different outcomes, but they can't recognize the patterns that are getting them the outcomes that they're getting. It's all patterns, bro. That's why, like, you get mentors, because you recognize the patterns in their thinking, in their actions, in their day-to-day basis. And when you copy those patterns, you get similar outcomes. That's like when you said that I say similar things to a lot of other people in the space. Yeah, it's a fucking pattern. It's a pattern of thinking. It's a pattern of mindset that gets you an outcome. you know? So recognizing that pattern, so powerful, dude. So powerful. You're always going to be recognizing patterns. I still recognize it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the reflection, and that's what I was kind of mentioning about when you get sick, like spend that time reflecting, thinking about like things that you don't have the time to usually think about on a day-to-day basis. It's very powerful, you know. Reflecting, it's what makes men fucking great, dude. A lot of the greatest men in the world were in a lot of solitude and very lonely, so they had a lot of time to reflect. And the hardest thing in life is to know yourself, right? That's the hardest fucking mountain to climb. And the better you know yourself, the more you're gonna conquer this world. The more you're gonna conquer yourself, you know. So don't shy away from that. Don't shy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, also because I'm still working like, you know, a regular 9 to 5 job or whatever, while I'm, you know, trying to grow my social media and all this stuff. And I feel like when it comes to like the whole job situation, I mean, realistically, it's a lot more of a simple argument, but or idea or whatever. But in your mind, it kind of ends up real complex. But I almost have to like do a few things. With one, I'd say I had to convince myself that going online is like even though I already felt like and I knew like, okay, you know, if I do this online social media thing, it's going to be a lot better, and my, you know, that's going to be a better life path for me. And you know, I thought about it like that in the beginning, but then it got to a point where I had to start to convince myself that not only was like that a better path, but that was kind of the only path I was going to be able to take, and that nothing else would work. And then that kind of goes back to the thing that Ryan talks about, how you're like, you know, burning all your bridges.
Yep.
Is you're literally you're basically brainwashing yourself into saying that, okay, this is the only thing that's ever going to work in my life, and I have to take this path in order for that, you know, outcome to work out. And in that process, you kind of start, you know, realizing, you know, okay, well, you know, you become more self-aware, like you talked about, you already are, but then you also get a lot more motivated in the moment when, you know, you could either choose to slip back into scrolling or something. You get more motivated to say, start to do more, you know, maybe go to the gym instead, do something that's going to be more productive towards growing whatever it is you're trying to grow. So you really do have to convince yourself.
Humans are the most adaptable creatures in the entire world. You ever heard the stories about women picking up cars when their family trapped underneath?
Yeah.
It's insane. Your body's the strongest biochemistry fucking lab on planet Earth, meaning if you give yourself no fucking other option but the option you want, your mind will figure it out, the body chemistry will operate correctly, everything will fall in line. Because the human's the most adaptable thing. It is built, you are built to fucking survive. You are an animal. You are a fucking animal. You're built to survive, meaning if it's the only option, your mind's going to figure it out. Your body's going to figure it out.
Exactly.
That's why those by my social media success, it was my only option. I used to wake up with that anxiety every single day because I'm like, I have to figure out social media or else I'm going to fucking fail. And that pressure is what causes you to grow and come with the inspiration, you know? So not settling, very important, and that being your only option, very important. Burn all the bridges. Give yourself no outs. Because when it's the only direction, you got no outs. You know, it's like, what I have to do, I have to figure it out. And you will figure it out. This mind is so powerful. You know, it's so powerful. You're connected to infinite intelligence.
Yeah,
you really are. You're fucking an antenna. I don't know. Have you guys ever communicated with people before without talking to them? Have you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, when someone says something and you and your friend pick up on like an inside joke that you have, and you look over at each other, like shit like that.
I got a really strange story. I was reading Think and Grow Rich once. You reading that right now, Jacob?
Yeah.
So it talks about setting a desire out there in the world. Is that in that book, right? It talks about setting a strong desire out there in the world.
Yeah, that's Think and Grow Rich.
I think it does.
Yes. So when you send a strong desire out there in the world, it will come to you. So I had this once, it was a while ago, it was like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and I was working at Dick's Sporting Goods. I was kind of starting the social media. There's this girl I was dating. It was like the first girl I really ever loved. I was like, yo, she's so bad. She was like out of my league. I was in love with this girl, right? We break up. We're not talking for a while. And one morning I had like a dream, or, you know, I had a dream about her. I woke up, was going to work, and I couldn't stop thinking about her. And I kept thinking to myself about the book Think and Grow Rich. So I kept like sending this desire out there in the world for her to come and see me. Guess what? I opened up the door at Dick's, and there's like 6 different doors. That bitch is 5 feet in front of me on a random day. She doesn't even live close to that mall. And I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, and we ended up talking like a week later, and she's like, I don't know. I just got this strange feeling to come to Dick's and look at shoes that day. It was fucking mind blowing. There's no coincidences. There's no coincidences. If you send a desire out there in the world, you will receive the information or the outcome of which you want, as long as the desire is strong enough. Really, eat something, the world will give it to you. It really will. And that's why I've also been loving the Bible lately, because it tells you about, like, God will give you food, He will give you water, He will give you money, He will give you the things you need to survive, no matter what. And so that's why you never live in fear. I love this tattoo, and God I trust, because I never want to live in fear. I always want to understand I will have everything I need. And anything else, any extra money, any extra abundance, it's great. It's awesome. At the end of the day, I'll still have everything I need. You know, and it gives you this deep sense of fulfillment. And the less you chase something, the more you attract of it. You know, the less you're chasing, the more you attract of it. The more you actually identify as that person worthy and abundant of something, the more it will come to you. It's like really shifting that self-image first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's an issue. A lot of people, they just have low self-confidence. I don't get it. Low self-esteem. And esteem is just to appreciate the worth of. You're a human being. This is your one life. Appreciate the fuck out of it. Have an ego. Think great about yourself, man. Because most people don't. You want to become leaders? Then actually appreciate your worth. You know? Realize how fucking great you are, because you are. You know?
Yeah, I just made a reel talking about that. How, you know, if you're always trying to chase happiness 24/7, then you're never gonna get to it, because life doesn't let you chase things. You have to do things that are going to make you feel good about yourself, and then the happiness will come as a byproduct.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like, what is happiness, though? It's kind of like a dopamine hit. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. It's just an emotion that you.
I think as men don't truly crave happiness. I think there's something stronger we crave. You know, I think at the end of the day, we crave freedom. And to get freedom, happiness isn't a part of that journey.
Yeah.
You know, it really isn't. Happiness is like, yeah, laying down in bed at night, you're happy with what you did today. But like at the end of the day, men, your end purpose is to have freedom. You just want to be free of everything. Especially, again, read The Way of the Superior Man, tells you men, masculinity, the masculine energy just wants to be free. You know, so definitely don't chase happiness. That will lead you down a bad route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to chase the things that cause you to grow, because that's what makes you feel fucking good. And again, you're looking to gain wisdom. So you got to go through emotional struggles, emotional hardships. You got to be fucking calloused as a man, dude. Yeah. It's good. Mary, you got anything?
Yeah.
I'll say a couple things.
Word.
Well, I just like when you guys were talking about the lady picking up a car or whatever. Like 2 years ago, I just think it's true, because 2 years ago, like my brother, my grandpa, and I got in a wreck, and I got ejected. But my brother was like under the car, and like somehow I lifted it up enough so he can get out. So I just thought that was crazy when you guys brought that up.
Yep.
And then, like another thing I want to ask you guys is, like, with my posting, you know, I'm so new at it. I'm just posting like the most random shit, you know. It's like I'm just trying to see, like, oh, should I like chase views, or like, that's my question, like, because obviously you want a following, but like, I don't know what.
So I think you should use content as therapy is the best way to put it. I think you should use it as a way to coach yourself. I think at first, when you're starting out, you should use it as a way to coach yourself. Give yourself reminders, because here's the thing: when one person teaches, two learn. When you guys teach something, you learn it even better. And that's why I'm saying you should use it as therapy. You should use it as a way to coach yourself. I think that's the way you should use it, because then you find other people on your same level who maybe are just a couple steps behind you, and that's what you want to build. You shouldn't chase views. I chase views. It doesn't really get you anything but views. And at the end of the day, you're just like, what the fuck's this? There's a bunch of people who like my shit but don't truly like me. You know? That's why I got fucking 138,000 followers, and my average post gets 800 likes. It's because I chased views, and I didn't actually gain a following of people who truly, truly fucking love me. And that's something I've had to do course correct a long time. You know? So I would say first start off with content that type of way. Coach yourself through it, share your life, and most importantly, use it as a therapy mechanism, honestly. And what I mean by that is not like, it's more like learning yourself is kind of what I mean. You know, the thing about content is you really got to learn yourself if you want to be a good content creator. There's a lot of things you got to master personally. You know, your thinking, your communication, a lot of different things. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah.
So, you know, Mary, at the moment for you, I would just be sharing your journey, pushing yourself through it.
You're frozen.
Oh,
You froze.
Froze up.
we're back. This AT&T Wi-Fi sucks.
Oh. I feel like, yeah, for me, content works really well as to like if you have any sort of like insecurities or anything like that, content works really well to get over those because one of the biggest things I feel like a lot of people are insecure about is posting shit online. You know, you go to post it and you're like, oh, what are people gonna think? What are people gonna say if they see me post that on my story? Versus if you just do it and you just post whatever it is, then you're literally, you're kind of crushing that insecurity and you're beating it down over and over and over. And that gets rid of it, not only for the posting thing, but that also kind of helps with it in a day-to-day life of like, being afraid to talk to people or whatever it may be along those lines. It's just you're literally doing it so that way, it's a great way to build up more confidence. It's just by posting shit and saying things online that maybe you would normally only think in your head.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, Wood Spear Man also talks about living with an open heart, meaning opening your heart to the world, right? First, it's hard because your heart isn't calloused, but as you open it and you expose it to the world, your heart will callous more. And kind of what I mean by that is like a lot of people are scared to post content because, again, they don't have the confidence. They're insecure about what they may say. And so you're struggling to post content and be super vulnerable in your content because you're opening your heart and your heart isn't calloused yet. So the more you open your heart, right, the more you can callous it by just getting your fucking shit out there and being vulnerable. And again, that's what I mean by therapy, right? You're kind of learning yourself. You're learning struggles, you're learning your strong suits, and you're improving yourself through your content because you're actually opening up more as an individual. Like you're still inside your shell, man. You got to crack out of that shell. And content will help that. It'll help you find your authentic you, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it helped me push my personal development to a whole nother level by posting a shit ton. You know?
Definitely.
You got to get vulnerable in it, man. Just live with an open heart. Don't be scared of shit. I think if you want to build a following, you got to be a leader, and a leader isn't fearful of shit.
Right.
He'll the one who will take the fall for the fucking army. Well, old leaders, not leaders nowadays. Shots and they'll sit in their fucking room stuttering like Joe Biden. But yeah, leader will lead the pack at the front. He'll be the first one to get shot down. It's the best way to look at it. And so it's like, again, with the following, you're looking to lead, so you're looking to be the one that overcomes all the bullshit first, and that's the only way to build a following. If you're overcoming all the bullshit first with your heart open, with your head on, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So great point, Kerrigan, dude. That's a great one.
Yeah, I feel like also, with content, another thing is like if you're looking for something to post and you don't really know what to say, you can even like a lot of times, like as I'm going through the day, if I get an idea in my mind, the first thing I do is pull out my phone and write it down in my notes. That way I don't forget it. Or if even like a lot of times you'll be doing something as simple as, folding your clothes or doing the dishes, and you'll think about you'll have a conversation going on in your head and you'll think of some life lesson and you're like, shit, that's good. I should remember that. Write it down in your notes instantly because the chances are you're probably going to forget it. But then if you go write it down in your notes, you can go back to it later and kind of maybe expand on it and then make a video off of that. Right. And if you feel uncomfortable about the stuff you're writing about, think of that as a reason why you have to post that now, because that's the only way you're going to break through that uncomfortableness is by posting the stuff that makes you uncomfortable.
Straight up. The best ideas will come to you at the most inconvenient times.
Yeah, that's so true. So true.
You gotta have the notepad ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so easy. Even sometimes what I do is I get out the voice memos on my phone and I'll just say it out loud, and talk it to my phone out however I'm thinking about it. Because sometimes when you go to type it, it takes too long to type and then you lose the idea or you just can't type it out exactly how it's going on in your head. So if you just kind of speak it out loud, one, that just helps you figure it out better. But two, you've got it recorded now, so you can go back to it that way also.
Right.
Yep.
Are you trying to be a coach?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Everyone is.
Well, yeah, all you guys. Yeah, I was just gonna give you a compliment. You're very articulate, which is good. I feel like
Appreciate
that. I feel like that's a big trait that really separates high quality from low quality is just being able to say shit.
Appreciate it.
You've been getting a lot better at speaking, Kieran.
Working on it, yeah.
Now, I remember the first call was a lot of stuttering. Now it's becoming so much more clear and concise.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to like a lot of times when I'd be talking about stuff, I always had this idea like, oh, I shouldn't say that, or yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Just like worrying about what I should and shouldn't say, and if that's the wrong thing to say, and you kind of just have to say what it is on your mind. If it's the wrong thing, you'll learn that it's the wrong thing, and you'll know for the future. But if you live in that, oh, let's not say this in case it's the wrong thing mindset, then you just end up never speaking. As well as if you do say, if you're thinking about saying something and then you find out that, oh yeah, maybe you shouldn't have said that, even that can kind of be negative reinforcement, because then you get the negative reinforcement of, oh yeah, don't talk. So if you just simply talk more and kind of do it, that's the only way to figure it out. And then you kind of figure out like the connotations and calls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't trip over your own shoelaces, man.
Exactly.
Not good. I tell you what, talking to women helped that out a lot, though. Go talk to women, guys.
Yeah. Gotta break that wall down.
Yeah. Yeah, so live with an open heart, like I said.
I just got one of those big whiteboards from my room, that way I can start doing whiteboard videos.
Yeah.
I haven't hung it up yet. It came today, so
Yeah, dude.
I gotta think of stuff I can post on there.
Yeah, I just recorded one yesterday. It's exporting right now. We got another one. The other one's a complete guide on women. This one's full discipline guide. Should be good shit. I'm excited. Oh, that's been a good call, boys.
I feel like after you build a physique too, like that'll help you speak better, just because like you got something to back it up. Am I right?
It can definitely help it.
I think it definitely
Just
helps
for like
it, but
post wise, like posting, like look what I got and you don't, type of deal.
Yeah.
it does. But if you also just post as you're building the physique,
Right.
where you would be, the position you're going to be in life when you have that physique is going to be so much better. Like if I would have started making content before I had a better physique and like would have made it on the way, I would have had so much more confidence as soon as my physique like kind of hit a lot more of a peak point than if I would have starting now and just now starting to talk about all kinds of shit.
Then they got something to look back at, like how you started. Yeah.
Exactly, but then you also just have all that practice of you talking and
Right.
just different stuff like that.
The thing is, like, if you woke up with that dream physique tomorrow, your communication skills wouldn't be any better.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
You might be a little bit more convicted, but it's still
Right.
comes down to building that skill set. Just talking more straight up, really.
Yeah, and you only build that by doing the actual thing, kind of breaking down whatever lack of confidence or insecurity you have of it by doing it more and more and more. You can even like I said earlier, what I do a lot of time is, even if like there's something that I feel insecure about or whatever, I write it down on my computer on like a Google Doc sheet, and then I just stare at it and kind of think of like, I look at my whole life and kind of think of, okay, why am I this way? Why if someone points this out about me or whatever, why does that bother me? What does that go back to? And if you can just like type it up and look at it all just like on a document, it almost gets to a point where you look at it, you're like, well, that's not really that bad. That's not, if somebody says this about whatever, it's not going to kill me,
Right.
So and then you can just beat it down that way.
So you think like I should like start actually talking on videos and not do like the text over sound type of deal?
I mean, I would definitely, talking definitely helps. Even I think YouTube helped a lot for me too, just telling a lot more stories and kind of, getting a lot more personal of my life. The type over videos are good for if you're just trying to make like a quick video to maybe get someone to like it, but that's not really building like your brand. That's just more getting
likes.
a bunch of randoms. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's kind of like if you had a party and you were inviting close friends versus a million people that you didn't care about. It's like you're gonna have a better time at the small kickback than you would
Right.
at a big ass party where you don't know anyone. That has no value. But when they kickback, you guys all can kind of communicate, and there's a lot more value.
Yep. Oh, that's great. I was just analyzing my content last night, and there was way too many text over sound videos. I'm like, oh fuck, that's why.
Mm-hmm. That's all I've posted because like
it's a good starting point. Definitely easier to get engagement, easier to make it, so on. But challenge yourself to the talking ones. I've been challenging myself as well to it. I've been realizing, oh shit, I haven't actually providing as much value as I think I'm providing my Instagram.
Yeah.
Analyze your content, look back at it. Then also, again, look at your hit list, look at your competition, look at other people, and see what they're doing different. That's what fired me up to like, okay, start changing my content. Because I looked at mine, I looked at somebody else, and I'm like, oh, that's exactly why they're making more. Or they have better engagement. It's clear as fucking day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just even from my personal experience, like I've become a lot more of an observant consumer because I'm trying to think of like, what do I like to see? What sticks with me? And I'm noticing like because I used to be so hung up on having like the completely peeled physique. Like it's not going to be ready until I have that look,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm realizing that through what I consume, like I scroll by so many posts of dudes showing their physiques, and like I'm becoming more conscious of how I just scroll by them. Like how many more videos do we have to see of like a dubstep song with a physique?
Yeah.
It's good to have that throughout your content, but the content that sticks with me, the people that I follow, the people that I watch, they're just talking. Like they're like I'll go on their accounts and they will have things of their physique, but I'm watching their stories. I'm listening to like their rants and their lectures, and those are the people that stick in my head. Those are the ones that I actually want. Like when I'm scrolling, I'll stop and watch each one of their videos. So I'm just learning that I place the physique way higher up in my head than I even put it in a value scale when I'm consuming. Like I don't care as much about it. Like even with like Ryan, I know you said you're getting more into the value based videos, but like I hired you because of the stuff that you said. Like
right.
Your physique obviously is what got me to click on your account because I was like, Jesus, kid's sauced. But then when I actually wanted to give you money, like it had nothing to do with it. It had to do with everything we're talking about right now. And you met with me in person, like. You sold me based off the value that you had in your wisdom that you have for your young age. It had very little to do with your physique at the end of the day when the exchange happened.
Yep. People always want something new too. So it's like, don't be afraid to show yourself off now because everybody is going through the same exact thought process you're going through. I'm going to show myself off once I'm good enough.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Right.
Show yourself off now. You bring something new to content, and that's the way content's moving. It's more authentic. BRB word, and that's what I realized.
Right.
And again, it's like there's ways to content. If you're trying to build a personal brand that pays you for life, you have to overcome every single obstacle. Because like for me, I've noticed views go up and down, things go up and down as my physique goes up and down. So I have to find other ways to monetize my passion through talking and stuff like that. Through other forms of content because I can't be shredded year round, sadly. I can't be fucking sauced up on trend year round, sadly enough, or else I'll fucking die. And so it's like, there's going to be many obstacles. Figure out how to overcome all of them. Don't just go with the least resistance or whatever you think's the easiest, Take massive action quick. And yeah, like Jake, I do provide value on like YouTube and stuff, but like analyzing my Instagram, there's still a whole bunch more potential, My stories are a lot, but I was looking at my Instagram, I'm like, bro, this is all just fucking marketing.
Yeah, just start sprinkling more of that stuff in, dude. Because I watch like all your stories, dude. I like they do hook me in. It's good information. Like it's just valuable.
Yeah. I still even got to get over trying to make my content perfect online. I still have that struggle with my Instagram. I just want it to come out perfect.
Yeah.
It's a struggle, man. But is what it is.
I just got a little clip-on microphone and I got a ring light. So things are moving. They're moving. It's not as fast as I want it to be, but at the same time, they're moving.
It's good because Atomic Habits, the book, it breaks it down. What's the best way to become a runner? You buy the gear, you buy the shoes, you enter in the marathon. Because once you have these, like the environment, once the environment changes, it changes self-identity. Once you get the microphone, the ring light, you're like, I'm a creator.
That's what's happening. It's starting to change, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like always change your environment first, especially with you, Mary. You're just starting out. Change your environment, man. Change up your room, make it look more professional. Get a ring light or something like that. Get a microphone.
Right.
Get your first tripod. I don't know if you got a tripod. Get a tripod. You feel like a creator. You start thinking like one.
Yeah.
Right. Perfect.
And it's funny, as I've been starting to run, I'm like, I should get some running gear so I can get more into it. Because right now I'm still running in bodybuilding clothes, and I'm like, I look like a fucking faggot. I'm not a runner. I feel like a bodybuilder trying to run, and I want to feel like a runner. So that definitely helps out a lot. It really does. And that's
I was going to add.
I was gonna say that's why like get the things you want in life. You know, move to the place you want to get the car you want to get because it increases your self identity, increasing your success.
Yeah, it creates momentum.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was going to add something into what Jacob was saying earlier before I went and pissed, but I couldn't remember what it was. What was it that you were?
Oh, we were talking about like value in posting, like how the physique doesn't matter as much.
Yeah. So exactly. So when it came to social media, for the longest time, that's exactly how I was. I was like, oh, I can't post anything until my physique is great, because I had this like idea in my mind of like, oh no, it's all got to be perfect, and then I just want to appear out of nowhere, like look at me with all the stuff I got. But people really don't care about that. Like if they go to your account and it was because I'm into cars. It was the same thing for my car. Like I didn't want to post the build progress until it was all built and all finished. And it's like, well, now I've got my car almost completely finished. And I'm like, shit, I wish I would have been actually recording and posting all the shit I was doing to it instead of just waiting until I had it, because people care a lot more about seeing the progression than they do about, just seeing the outcome. It's kind of like when you're scrolling on a reel or something, and then you see like the old video, and then it's like, the beat drops, and then it transforms to their new physique, and you're like, whoa, look at where he was and look at where he is now, You actually see the change. But if you're just like instantly like, oh, look what I have now, it doesn't really mean as much, because like they don't really have anything to relate it to. They can't relate it to where they are right now. They can just relate it to, oh wow, that's cool, that guy did something for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Relatability is very important.
Yeah.
Woo. I'm whipped after that streaming session.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. You got anything else?
What are you guys Instagrams? I'll follow you both.
Mine is go for it.
Merritt.Skinner.
Like SKYNARD.
Skinner, SKINNER.
Okay, got you. And Kieran?
And then it's just my name, KIEREN.Gambrell.
All right, sick. Yeah, I'll follow you guys.
Awesome.
Get your best. Appreciate it.
Love it, dude.
I don't think I have anything else in my mind.
We gonna have a good week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good week.
Let's crush it, dude. Let's crush it. We got 10 months fucking left. What are we gonna do? What's those resolutions you guys got, man?
I'm trying to get myself another car by the end of the year.
Oh yeah. What are you getting this time?
I want to get an AMG GTS. That's the goal.
That's like the long hood one, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I like those. That's probably like the only Mercedes besides the G63 I like.
Yeah, I'm a Mercedes guy.
Hell yeah.
But I've been looking at those. I want to get one, so got to grow the business to get it. They're not too cheap.
Finance, man, come on. You ever follow up with that one guy?
Say again?
You follow up with that one guy yet?
I haven't.
Bro, text him every day until he blocks you.
Okay, I'll do it.
Hell's not done until you get blocked,
Yeah.
man. Jake knows this.
I'll make sure to back then.
Yeah, you ever put your information in one of those websites and you get 27 texts?
Yeah.
It annoys you, but it's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna kill the other person either, man.
Do you think like maybe sending the guy like maybe like if I like link him a video that like I don't know if I have a video and it talks about something that's really in depth in the situation, send it to him and be like, I think you should listen to this to kind of get him back into that loop.
So I would say if the call never closes, send free info. Okay, if you get up, you never want to leave the call without sending them something. You want to have something in place to send them. I find that if I send somebody something after a call, like more than 50% of the time, they'll actually buy in. It's crazy. It's really crazy because you provide them value and they like that. So I'll send them free modules for my school. So do that, change that. Second off, just say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Maybe pick out one of those pain points. Hey, have you overcame that quite yet? Would you be interested in having a call or something like that? I'd say it's a little bit too late now to send him maybe something free. You could send him over the free training if he hasn't watched that. But just keep following up with them. Week by week, just set a reminder because it's like if somebody came into your world and your environment, he wants to buy. And now it's overcoming the objection to get him to buy. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's never done until literally you're blocked. Like,
yeah.
I had like somebody trying to do content for me for 5 months. I had somebody trying to DM set for me for months. He was texting me every day. And eventually, one day I was like, you know what? I need that. And so I reached out and he got on.
Yeah, I got it.
Because he was persistent. People like persistent people.
Exactly.
So don't be scared of just texting them every single day. If you're not blocked, it's not closed. It's like with relationships, man. Not blocked, it's not done.
Exactly. You gotta play the game.
Yeah, play the fucking game, man. Play it hard.
Yeah.
It's like you're never gonna meet that person probably in real life. So it's like create the opportunity. You're the one who creates the opportunity. Remember that. So I gotta follow some people.
Yeah, it's
people.
I mean,
somebody in Buffalo who didn't fucking close.
Looking back on my call too, I've been watching more of in the schools, a lot more of the sales stuff, as well as I've been watching some more like Alex Hormozy and what's his name? God, I can't think of it. The Wolf of Wall Street dude. What's his name?
Jordan Belfort.
Jordan Belfort. Yeah. I've been watching a lot of that, and then I watched back my call video. Oh my God, I did a lot of shit wrong.
I would watch Andy Elliott instead.
Okay.
I'd say he's a lot better for online sales.
Uh-huh.
Alex Hormozy and Jordan Belfort, they did a lot of sales. But Andy Elliott, I find to have the best information when it comes to online sales.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, straight up. I've watched a lot of them. I've read Jordan Belfort's book, actually.
Okay.
So the A to B line, it's like good, but like Andy Elliott's so much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give it a watch.
Good. Yeah, if you learn sales, bro, you'll be rich for life.
Exactly.
So study the motherfucking sales, man. You're always selling.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like the biggest hurdle to overcome really is just fearing that you're gonna say the wrong thing, because that's like the best way, and that's kind of what I was doing going into the first call, is fearing I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I feel like that's the best way to ensure that you're gonna say the wrong thing.
Yep.
Is by fearing that you're gonna say the wrong thing, or fearing that you're gonna mess up.
Yeah. It takes repetition. It takes a lot. I did 400 calls. I didn't feel comfortable maybe till 100 calls ago.
Yeah.
Honestly, like now I'm at the point where like I don't want to take the call anymore because it's just so fucking mundane. But I remember the journey. It's gonna take 1,000 hours. It's gonna take 10 hours.
Yeah. It takes a long time.
Yeah. So it'll be good. Just keep trying to get the DMs in, push the content, push the stories.
Yep.
And really just follow the story flow at the moment. If you can speak with conviction inside your stories, people will reach out. It's
Exactly.
The thing you're really lacking is just the story flow at the moment.
Yeah. I've been trying to put a lot more emotion and just kind of a lot more actual.
Again, you gotta get people to tick. Gets people to tick. Gets them to be like, oh, I have an issue.
Exactly.
You have to amplify the pain they're going through so they actually feel it and decide to take action. Everyone's going through pain, but people numb it once again. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So amplify that pain, get them to actually take action towards a better life.
Yep. Increase it. Mm-hmm.
Straight up. Okay, guys. I'm gonna go shower. Thank you for joining the call. Appreciate
Awesome.